以下為個人意見節目，內容提及嘅所有政綱及言論均以嘉賓原話為準，敬請留意。
市選論英雄 Municipal Election Talks 節目主持 Samuel Chang。
各位好，歡迎又嚟收聽我哋今日嘅市選論英雄。OK， 我係今日嘅節目嘅主持人，我係 Samuel 鄭和安。咁啊，今日咧我哋好開心咧，我哋請到咧喺第20區咧第20選區嘅候選人之一，就係Stella Kargiannakis。咁Stella 今日咧就嚟到我哋嘅錄音室接受我哋嘅訪問，咁我哋好歡迎佢。咁咧就我會咧首先咧就問一問，叫Stella 咧就介紹下佢自己，講下有關於佢嘅嘢。咁咧就然後我哋就一路睇下有啲咩有趣同埋佢可以同我哋分享嘅嘢，有關呢個10月27號呢個市選嘅情況。OK。Welcome, Stella.
Thank you very much.
Welcome
to
our radio stations and for the interview. And I just had a brief introduction of yourself, and you will be a candidate for the upcoming October 27 election for the city, and you're representing Ward 20, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, Stella. Our listeners had no idea who you are and what you look like. And can you tell our listener a little bit about yourself? Give us a little bit about your background.
My background. Well, I was born and raised in Ward 20. My dad had a hardware store at Kargiannakis, and we lived upstairs. It was a terrific commute, upstairs, downstairs, no traffic jams, no congestion.
If I can just stop you right there, because we want to do it more interactively, so I want to be able to provide the best translations for our listeners as well. So instead of having you speaking for 2 minutes or 3 minutes, we'll do it bit by bit, so that it be more interesting, and I'll be able to provide the better translations. Stella 咧，佢咧就係喺多倫多出生長大嘅，咁佢亦都咧喺第20選區嗰度成長。咁佢嘅父親咧就有間五金鋪嘅，咁咧就喺 McCall 同埋 Queen 街嗰度，咁咧就冇乜交通㗎，嗰度應該交通唔係好多嘅。Am I correct? The hardware store is in Queen and McCall?
It was.
It was.
It is no longer, unfortunately. And I'm sure your listeners are aware of some of the challenges that independent businesses are faced with in downtown Toronto and elsewhere throughout.
原來佢成長，佢父親嗰間五金鋪咧喺 Queen 同 McCall 街嗰度咧已經冇咗啦。咁佢亦都相信咧。喺嗰區嘅選民咧，亦都明白到做生意同埋嗰區面對嘅挑戰嘅。So, well, continue. Just tell us a little bit more. You know, I know the small business is not easy. It's certainly I appreciate the past, the old way of living, and the entrepreneurship of people. Coming into Canada and working hard and making a living and feeding the kids and all of those things, those are good stuff, and I value that.
That's right, and that's where my background and my roots are. And I understand businesses. I understand the challenges that people are facing today. I should tell you that I am not affiliated with any political party.
Stella 咧就剛才我亦都講啦，我就好欣賞啲企業家，無論你係大企業家，又或係小本經營做生意嗰啲。咁當然啦，佢父親亦都係其中之一啦，即係好似我哋一般大部分嘅市民一樣， 俾心機做嘢，養活下一代。咁佢亦都明白咧做生意嘅困難同埋挑戰。咁咧佢自己本身咧就唔係同任何一個政黨咧係有關聯嘅。咁所以佢係相當中立嘅喺呢一方面。
I'm not aligned with any organizations or associations or any special interests groups, so I am free to make decisions that are best for the City of Toronto and for all of the people of the city.
佢亦都咧就唔係話有咩同咩大嘅機構啊同埋組織咧係有關係。咁咧，既然係冇政黨冇其他嘅大嘅企業啊或者組織有關係嘅時候咧，佢覺得咧呢個係佢嘅長處，因為點解咧？佢做嘅決定咧係可以好隨意，同埋咧係專注咧就係為咗市民而做，就唔會咧受到其他各方面嘅影響嘅。I was just telling that that's certainly an advantage because if you're not associated with any political party or businesses, and you'll be able to make decisions, align with the residents, and do it proper.
That's right, objectively. Make decisions objectively. I should also tell you that I am currently retired, but I do have experience in business, in real estate, in land development, and in government. I have done budgets, reports, studies, feasibility analyses, market research, and consulting in the private sector.
Stella 咧，佢就已經係退咗休噶啦。咁佢未退休之前咧，佢從事咧就係喺地產界啊，就亦都做好多嘢嘅。咁咧佢亦都喺土地發展啊，同埋政府啊預算啊呢個報告啊，甚至到市場嘅研究嗰方面咧。亦都有做過顧問嘅工作，咁所以咧佢站在喺呢一方面嚟講咧，佢係非常有經驗嘅。
And I was also the project development officer for a municipal nonprofit housing corporation, and this public sector job involved getting approvals and funding from the Ontario government for municipal housing projects. So I know how to get things done within budget.
Is that a volunteer job or is that
No, that was a paid position.
Okay. Stella 咧亦都曾經咧就喺一個非牟利嘅房屋發展嘅機構嗰度咧。就做呢個項目嘅發展嘅經理，咁咧佢喺呢一方面咧，佢係對呢個公共事務同埋呢個去申請呢個政府啊各方面嘅財政嘅支援各方面咧，佢係非常有經驗嘅。佢亦都知道咧能夠點樣咧可以咧將個工作咧好好完成。
And although I am currently retired, I do keep busy. I write books. So I recently published my third book, which deals with economic and social policy.
Wow, that's kind of interesting. Stella 雖然咧佢係已經退咗休，但係咧佢係仍然係好忙。咁啊，其中一樣嘢咧，佢係做嘅咧就係佢好中意寫書嘅。咁佢已經係寫咗第3本書。咁呢本書咧係有關呢個社區經濟同埋呢個發展嘅，咁所以咧即係我諗佢呢一方面咧係基於佢以往嗰個工作嘅經驗，咁當然咧寫書唔係個個人都可以做嘅。And that's great. I mean, writing sounds simple and interesting, but it's certainly a very tough one. And people wanted to write. I wanted to write, but I don't think I can.
I'm sure everybody can. It is very time-consuming, and it involves a lot of research.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, tell us, Stella, about any characteristics of Ward 20 that is different than other wards within the city. Is there anything different from your observations? Because you live there, right?
I don't live there currently. I live a little bit further east. However, it is different from other wards in that there are so many differences within the ward. So we have some high-density condominium developments and the development of the waterfront. We have office buildings, and we have single-family homes. We have universities. We have hospitals. We have Chinatown. We have Kensington Market. We have independent businesses. We have some strong neighborhoods that need preservation. So there's a lot of variety within the ward.
我剛才咧就問阿 Stella 就話佢第20區選區啊，同其他嘅選區咧有冇咩特別嘅嘢唔同咧？咁佢就答得好好，佢就話咧佢個選區咧不但止唔同咧，亦都喺個選區裏面咧本身咧係有好多本身根本同其他唔同嘅嘢，因為個選區裏邊有我哋唐人街啦，有大學啦，有好多嘅新嘅發展嘅大廈啦，咁啊亦都有大公司，亦都有小嘅機構，咁林林總總係非常之實際上同其他嗰啲選區係真係有啲唔同嘅，因為唔係每一個選區都有個唐人街喺嗰度嘅，亦都有埋嗰個 Kensington Market 啊，有喺晒嗰處，咁我覺得都係真係有啲特別。咁當然啦，我哋亦都喺嗰區嚟講咧，係我哋有相當多呢個華人聚居喺嗰度嘅。Well, that's great, and certainly Ward 20 it's different. There aren't that many Chinatown in every ward, and I guess Ward 20 is just about one of them. Although there are quite a bit.
Well, it is
Chinese
the oldest.
community
It is
moving.
the first.
It is the first. It's still certainly very interesting, and I'd like to go down there once in a while too. And it's certainly interesting.
And
food.
evolving, and it is evolving as well.
It's evolving. Let me tell you what my observation is. It's evolving to be better.
I hope so.
And
I hope so.
我剛才咧就傾偈嘅方式講咧，我話唐人街唔係每一個選區都有，咁咧我亦都有機會咧，我都好喜歡落去唐人街行下，因為咧亦都係我哋嘅第一個唐人街。咁我亦都見到而家呢個唐人街嗰度唔係淨係唐人街啦，嗰度附近咧嘅發展咧，我只係覺得佢係發展去好嘅方向，咁佢亦都係同意嘅。Stella，there are a lot of candidates in your ward. Am I correct?
There certainly are about 24 candidates. It must be a very popular ward.
Is there any reasons why there are so many candidates? I did check out other ward in terms of the number of candidates, and I noticed one with 9. Well, I'm not sure whether you can still put your name in to run. Is the deadline?
No, the deadline. You can still put in your nomination up until mid-September.
Okay.
So many more are likely to come.
So 20, it's a lot. Okay, 20, it's a lot. So before I ask you a little bit more about why, tell us your platform if you have one, and how do you build your platform, and where do you get the I wouldn't say get the knowledge, but did you copy it from somebody else? Did you enhance it, or is it something new, or is it just business as usual? Nothing more interesting and exciting. I'm not saying in a negative tone, but would it be just kind of standard stuff? 我剛才問Stella 嘅咧，就係話當我未去問佢點解啲人要去選佢之前咧，咁你可唔可以話俾佢聽，你有冇咩平台？呢個平台有冇咩特別？同埋呢個平台係咪抄人哋嘅咧？或者係唔好話抄人哋啦，或者係都係冇咩特別嘅新鮮嘅 嘅意識喺處都係好似都係咁噶啦。如果我要選議員，梗係要做好呢樣做好嗰樣，或者點樣噶啦。咁你可唔可以同我哋分享下呢？咁 Go ahead, Stella.
Yes, I only wish that people would copy me. I only wish that they would copy my ideas, because there are many issues. There are many issues, particularly in this riding, and especially, across the GTA. And I'm just going to speak briefly about three of them. I've selected three that I think will resonate.
Okay, just so on before you start. Stella 咧，佢就話咧，佢只係希望咧，其他嘅候選人咧係抄佢嘅意見。OK， 咁咧佢咧本身嚟講咧，佢係有好多計劃，佢亦都知道咧嗰個選區裏面咧係有好多嘢咧係需要做嘅。咁咧喺佢站在佢立場嚟講咧，佢咧就想同我哋分享有3點。OK， 咁我而家等佢可以開始講佢。Why don't you continue with your 3 points or?
Yeah, first of all, Torontonians, and especially those in downtown Toronto, pay far too much property tax. And before your listeners from Markham and Richmond Hill or King City start shouting that their taxes are higher, I'd like to explain.
嗱，第一樣咧，我諗大家都非常關注嘅咧，就係物業稅。喺第20選區咧，同埋喺呢個downtown咧，嗰個物業稅咧係非常貴嘅。咁當然啦，佢就話你其他嘅選區啊，甚至到萬錦市啊，或者列治文山啊，咁啲人都嘈話啲物業稅貴啦，但係咧佢特別咧就要針對呢個物業稅呢一方面嚟講嘅。
So I've seen the charts and the graphs that compare the average residential property tax for municipalities in the Greater Toronto Area. I know that Toronto sits at the bottom of the list with an average residential property tax of about $3,500, and that King is at the top of the list with an average property tax of about $6,000.
咁咧就佢有睇過嘅研究報告咧，同埋個分析數據咧，就係咧喺多倫多市咧個平均呢個物業稅咧係3500蚊，咁啊喺呢個King City 嗰度咧個平均物業稅咧就係6000蚊。Yep.
What people need to remember is that when they look at the list, when they see King City, for example, with its average tax of $6,000. They have to understand that King City has a total population of 8,000 people. It is a village with 200 businesses. Toronto has a population of 2.5 million people. We have 75,000 businesses. And you know what the same people that produce those charts and graphs will tell you, and that's that large organizations benefit from economies of scale, and that the unit costs drop with an increase in volume, or that the more people there are, the less each one has to pay.
OK， 嗱佢咧，剛才我哋聽到下，即係話喺多倫多市咧，雖然係嗰個物業稅話擺得好似好低咁。咁但係實際上咧，你要有個詳細啲嘅分析，就係咧喺 King City 裏面咧，雖然話6000蚊，但係喺 King City 咧，實際上咧佢只得8000嘅人口，同埋咧佢得200個商業機構。咁但係咧喺多倫多市咧，我哋有200幾萬，同埋有75000個公司喺嗰處。咁所以實際上嚟講咧，即係喺呢一方面嚟講咧，係有個經濟效益咧，就喺呢個多倫多嗰處嘅。因為咧，如果我哋除翻嚟講咧，呢個3500蚊咧係好多嘅。
The village of King City that tops the list with the highest average property tax, that village of 8,000 people has paved roads and schools and emergency services and a public library and parks and a government bureaucracy and administration. I think it's amazing that a village of 8,000 people can have all those municipal services by paying, on average, $6,000 a year. What should we expect from a city with a population of 2.5 million?
嗱，咁當然啦，你正話我哋講話喺個 King City 嗰處，佢得8000人口，但係咧佢樣樣都有路又多又有圖書館，又有其他所有嘅嘢，政府嘅設施。咁咧你睇睇咧，即係嗰6000蚊咧，實際上咧係如果你俾嗰6000蚊咧，你係即係講得我用俗語講咧，你係好抵嘅。咁但係咧，如果你俾3500蚊咧，我哋有咁多人，有200幾萬人，有咁多個商業機構喺度咧，嗰3500蚊咧係如果你除翻嚟講咧，係應該更少添，即係應該係唔應該俾3500蚊咁多，應該係俾更少。
Yeah, so I'm sure if your listeners did the calculation, they would find that Toronto, in fact, does pay very high property taxes.
所以如果我哋咁樣去睇法咧，咁我哋會知道咧，亦都會明白到咧，實際上咧，我哋多倫多咧係俾嗰個稅咧係好高嘅。If we can move on to number 2 and 3.
Okay, so the second issue, which is one which no one speaks of, and one that is increasing, I'm very concerned about. It's the increasing concentration of ownership of commercial property and the decline in freehold ownership of commercial property.
咁仲有咧第二樣嘢咧，就係咧越嚟越佢發覺咧，就係即係啲大嘅機構咧，就係開始咧就擁有更多嘅商業嘅商業區或者商業可以講話嗰啲咁嘅摩俾佢，而就越嚟越少咧，就啲商戶咧自己擁有佢自己嘅商業嘅物業嘅。
Freehold ownership gives property owners the largest amount of rights and privileges over their property. So if you own, for example, a single-family home in Ontario, you likely have freehold title.
咁咩叫做你自己擁有咧？即係好似我哋而家我哋自己住屋咁，如果我哋自己住一間獨立屋咧，咁我哋咧就有擁有權。咁但係咧，如果站在商業嚟講咧，如果你自己擁有你個自己嘅商業嘅物業嚟講咧，咁你變咗呢個伸縮性做嘢嗰方面咧，你係好多嘅。
So what is happening to commercial property in the city of Toronto and in other municipalities is that large real estate investment companies, many of which are owned by pension funds, are assembling, developing, holding, and managing commercial properties. And these companies tend to lease to AAA tenants, other large corporations. So the opportunity for aspiring entrepreneurs to buy or rent commercial space in good locations is shrinking.
咁咧點解嗰啲大嘅機構去擁有大嘅商業物業係可以話係好或者話係唔好咧？咁我哋睇睇唔好嗰方面先。咁唔好嗰方面咧，就係嗰啲大嘅機構咧，擁有咗嗰啲咁嘅商業物業咧，佢哋咧一般嚟講咧，佢哋管理做嘅嘢咧，甚至租嘅租客咧，佢哋都有自己嘅目標。咁變咗咧，形成咧嗰個企業家，我哋如果想去自己去做生意咁咧就變咗咧係有一個困難喺度，你未必可以有機會可以租到嗰啲咁嘅地方。咁咧亦都咧好嘅地點咧，亦都俾佢哋或者壟斷咗啦好嘅地方佢梗係個個都爭住噶啦，咁大機構去爭嘅梗係容易啲噶啦咁。
Yeah, ownership of the space in which you operate your business is a determining factor in the success of your business.
當你能夠去擁有同埋咧喺擁有你自己嘅物業去做你嘅生意嘅時候咧，呢一樣嘢咧係好大影響到你呢個生意成唔成功嘅。
Yeah. Also, the concentration of ownership of commercial property poses a threat to Toronto's unique neighborhood business areas.
OK， 咁當然啦，即係如果冚唪唥都集中晒俾幾間公司去擁有嚟講咧，咁呢個亦都會有影響嘅。咁當然我哋亦都明白，如果我哋落到去呢個 downtown睇到，如果大部分嗰啲都係俾啲大公司擁有嘅時候咧，嗰啲小生意、小商戶咧就變咗好難做噶啦。That's great, and certainly it sounds very different, and your idea, and just watch out people that's going to copy from you.
I wish they would copy. That's okay. Do we have time for the third issue?
Yes, please. Just make it brief, if you will.
Okay, all right. I think the third one should be subways. The City of Toronto has had subways approved and ready to go for decades, and we're still waiting. Subways move large numbers of people very quickly.
So you are for subway?
I am for subways. And although subways are more expensive to build than LRTs or light rail transit, municipalities recover the money they spend on subways. We do not recover money spent on LRTs because as soon as the shovel goes in the ground for a subway, land prices go up, development increases, so municipal revenues increase.
佢本身咧第三個議題咧，佢覺得嘅咧，佢就係佢覺得地鐵係好過街車嘅，因為咧如果起地鐵，第一佢可以即係可以載多啲乘客；第二咧，如果你有地鐵嘅時候咧，連嗰個區嘅物業各方面嘅嘢咧都會興旺起上嚟。咁所以咧佢咧就會好主張咧就當然啦講好耐啦佢會主張咧就係再興建同埋呢個增加呢個地鐵嗰方面嘅嘢嘅。Well, that's good, and certainly it sounds good to me, and I haven't thought about all that. It's a good idea. Now, time is going by so quickly, Stella. Now, before we close, can you share with our listeners, and I understand that I did try Google your name. It certainly a lot of information comes out. So can I suggest to our listener that if they want to find out more about yourself, that they can go to the browsers and Google your name, and there you go, and be able to find out more about yourself.
Yes, I'm sure they can dig up information on me.
嗱，我剛才就同佢講咧，我就喺呢個網樹咧就打入佢個名。嗱，佢個名咧，大家留意下啦，佢個名係 Stella。Stella 咧係佢個名 Stella， 咁佢個姓咧係 Kargiannakis， 就 Kargiannakis。咁咧我頭先有問過佢咧，佢都係希臘嘅後裔嚟嘅，咁所以我睇個名咧我都感覺到噶啦。如果你打入去嘅時候咧，就你又會揾到有關佢好多嘅資料，咁亦都可以見到佢其他喺嗰個公共嗰方面嘅投入嘅嘢。咁而家咧最後咧我就會多謝佢，同埋咧會問下佢點解咧喺10月27號咧我哋住喺嗰個區嘅人咧個選民咧要走出去投佢一票咧。Now, last of all, can you tell Stella, share with our listeners that why they should on October the 27th and go out there? I urge them to vote, but why they should go out there and vote for you and put a cross against your name?
Okay, how much time do we have?
Well, make it short and
make
sweet.
Make it short, okay.
Short and sweet. People remember, short and sweet.
Okay. I understand the issues. I understand what people need, and I know how to get things done. And I get things done within budget and on time. I should also point out the fact that I do not accept money from anyone. I am not accepting donations to my campaign. I do not want your money. I want your confidence and your trust.
嗱，佢剛才講咧，佢話佢明白個問題喺邊度，佢有咁樣嘅經驗，能夠咧係為個社區做嘢。佢做嘢咧能夠係按住個預算嚟做，亦都唔會超咗預算。佢咧亦都同我哋嘅聽眾講，佢唔接受捐款佢自己做呢個競選咧係全部佢係唔需要接受人哋捐款，佢只係希望你能夠投佢一票，等佢可以咧出嚟為大家做一啲嘢。Well, I just mentioned that's good, and you're not accepting donations, and you want to do something for the residents, for the city. And Stella, I wish you luck. And on October the 27th or 28th, I hope to see your name up there. and being elected to Ward 20.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. 我哋今日好多謝Stella 嚟到我哋嘅電台接受訪問。我哋下一次有機會再見。各位觀眾，拜拜。
以上內容純屬個人言論，所提及嘅政綱均以嘉賓原話為準，並不代表本台立場，敬請留意。立場敬請留意。立場敬請留意。立場敬請留意。